Greetings everyone. Today we're going to be discussing the flood disclosure. Now, the flood disclosure is as of October 2024 in the state of Florida. This is required that all sellers, when selling a residential property, is required to provide a flood disclosure to any buyers prior or at the execution of the sales contract. And what I just said is the most important thing, because to avoid liability and to make sure you're in compliance, it is required that you execute this flood disclosure and provide it to the buyers, preferably before the sales contract is signed. Now, I know a lot of realtors and sellers are going to be doing it after, but the Florida statute and the law states that's to be done at or before the time of the sales contract is being executed. So that means you need to have this done prior, preferably. You don't want to really wait until when it's being done, even though it can be done at the time the sales contract's being executed. It needs to be done prior, preferably. Definitely not after, because then otherwise you're out of compliance and it could be a liability issue. And this is required on every single residential sale now in the state of Florida. So this is something that realtors and really anybody, any sellers, are going to have to start doing and incorporating into their contracts to be in compliance and avoid liability issues. So it's a simple disclosure. It's one page. It's very easy to fill out. It's just you got to do it. So let's go through the video and get it done. So what you would do here is you just start off seller provides buyer the following flood disclosure at or before the time of the sales contract is executed. Usually put the seller's name here. If the seller is a person, you can put their name here, John Doe, whoever it is, as a placeholder name. Sometimes it's in a trust name or a company name, the property. If that's the case, you put it there. Whatever it may be. That's going to be the seller's information, provides buyer the following information. The property address, you put the full property address here. As always, you want to make sure it's the full address. You don't leave out the city, you don't leave out the state, you don't leave out the zip code. I know it sounds ridiculous, I say it in all my videos, but a lot of times I see agents fill this out and they just put, they leave out the city name, they leave out the state, they leave out the zip code, and they just write it like this. It's unacceptable. It needs to be the full property address. Do not be lazy, do it properly so that there's no liability issues or problems. So the full property address, seller's name up here. And then down here, you just fill out the flood disclosure part. The first paragraph is seller has or has not. For both of these is clicking has or has not. Have they filed a claim with an insurance provider relating to flood damage on the property, or has not filed a claim with an insurance provider relating to flood damage on the property, including but not limited to a claim with the National Flood Insurance Program. So it's either the seller has filed the claim or has not filed a claim with an insurance provider. If they haven't, the seller should know if they've filed a claim with their insurance provider over flood damage to the property. If they haven't, you click the second box. They has not filed the claim. Second part here, seller has received federal assistance for flood damage to the property, or seller has not received federal assistance for flood damage to the property, including to, but not limited to, the assistance of the Federal Emergency Management Act. Once again, the seller should know if they've received federal aid. If they have, you click the has box. They have received federal aid and assistance. If they haven't, you click the second box. Seller has not received federal assistance. And that's it. It's a simple thing. You could read through the rest of it, but as far as filling it out, that's all the sellers have to do. And the sellers should know if they have or haven't filed a claim, or if they have or haven't received federal assistance. Very simple. You don't need to overcomplicate this. The seller should know if they've received aid or if they filed a claim with an insurance provider. If they haven't, you click the two boxes back here and you move on. That's it. The seller signs it, the seller dates it. You check mark whatever box you want to put here, email, mail, personal delivery, and a copy received the buyer. Just make sure this date here, this date, and the date that they sign it is preferably prior to the execution of the sales contract. So if you have a sales contract and the effective date on the sales contract is, let's say, December 5th, this needs to be dated and signed on December 5th or prior. If the sales contract effective date is December 5th, then you come here and you have this all executed on the 7th, you got a problem. You're out of compliance. It's a liability issue. You did it after because the law states that it's supposed to be at or before the time the sales contract is executed. So just keep that in mind. This document's easy to fill out. You just have to do it. Make sure the date matches exactly the effective date of the sales contract or prior. Simple enough. And that's it for the flood disclosure. Very simple document. Just have to do it. Stay in compliance. Avoid issues. It's not worth having your license at risk or sellers getting in trouble, causing a problem over this one simple document just stating that if they filed a claim or received federal aid. Fill it out. Get it done. I hope this video was helpful. See you in the next one. Thank you.